And now we got to figure out how to transition over to overtime. I think this is how we do it. We just start talking. We just keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm out of beer. I'm gonna get
Well,
another
that's one way to
beer
start.
for overtime. Overtime beer.
Overtime beer. I have a whistle in
Overtime
my
beer.
room too. I should definitely go get that.
A whistle?
Yeah,
Like a referee's whistle?
you got it.
Or is it a rape whistle?
And that's overtime, folks. Thank you for joining us. So now we can talk about what's going on around the NFL. Are there any other games that you're excited about watching this upcoming weekend, start of the regular season?
Yeah, before we started recording, I was looking at the schedule. I mean, I know about the Thursday night game, Chiefs Ravens. I am very excited about that one. I think that one will be fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any further into the schedule, so let me pull it back up.
The NFL did it right this year for sure. They have Thursday, Friday, like just great matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night is Detroit versus the Rams.
Okay.
And then Monday night is the Jets versus the 49ers. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, throwing some pretty
primetime
stellar
games
matchups in.
all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, the Lions Rams, that'll be fun. This whole Stafford Goff thing. You know, both those teams have had quite a bit of success since that trade. So that'll be a fun one. But let's look at the rest of the schedule and see if there's any other, maybe lesser known
Here.
matchups.
I can share the screen because I've already prepared myself. All right, so here's our NFL schedule for opening weekend. I want to do a guillotine league kind of sort of. Well, let's make our lock for which game. I got the schedule pulled up here. Pick your team. You can only pick them once. We're gonna see who can go the longest.
Oh, okay. All right, like Survivor League.
Yep, Survivor.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure neither of us want anything, even though I feel in my gut that the Packers are gonna beat the Eagles. I'm not gonna take either of those teams quite yet.
Nah, that's a risky one. That's a risky one.
Ravens Chiefs. I'm pretty sure neither of us want to touch that one.
No.
Are the Chiefs going to be good this year?
Yes, of course they're going to be good.
I don't know. I think they regress.
It's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really matters what receivers they have. So the Chiefs defense doesn't get enough credit. I don't think there's a lot of, obviously there's tons of hype about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and their offense, but their defense does not get enough credit. They have a very good defense. So you combine a great defense with a stellar offense, you're always going to be good. So I mean, they're going to be good. I don't know that they win another Super Bowl necessarily, but
John Madden insight right there. You combine a good defense with a stellar offense. It's a good team.
I was about to try to do a John Madden impression, but I don't think I watched him enough. I mean, I was probably elementary school when I was watching John Madden on TV. Yeah. So I don't think I could do an accurate impression.
Panthers Saints got good old Bryce Young going down to New Orleans to face, is that you know who it is? Guy from Vegas.
You know who it is.
The guy from Vegas. What's his name? It's the guy Devontae went to go play with.
Derek Carr.
There it is. Thank you. Derek Carr and the Saints versus Bryce Young and the Panthers. I'm not really touching that game. That's kind of like the battle of the barrel, bottom of the barrel. It's a 50-50 for me. Giants and Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking Survivor League,
but yeah, I would take the Giants, but I'm not going to bet money on that one or Survivor League that one.
Well, I mean, if we're taking Survivor League, I'd probably take the Giants because the Giants aren't a very good team. But the Vikings are definitely not a very good team. So if the Giants are going to win a game, it's probably against the Vikings.
Well,
So
let's just look at these noon matchups. So, just like we've discussed the two previous matchups, like at noon football on Sunday, because I know I'm going to watch football all day Sunday. If there's any of
cool.
these games that I'm going to probably be turning on, of course, for me, I want to see this game. God, I hate myself so much. I'm just so intrigued by Chicago this year. I don't know what it is. I can't see
Do
your
we
face.
need to do we need to apologize to
Not
all these
again. No,
all
no.
these followers that we've
What
gained?
game? What game are you watching
Do
at
we need
noon?
to what game am I watching at noon? The game that's the closest, honestly. I mean, if
Oh, do you
it
have
doesn't matter the
like red
matchup,
zone
I
or
just
whatever?
no, I don't have red zone, but I just prefer to watch a good game, a close game. Like like unless it's the Packers, I don't really have teams that I'm rooting for necessarily. So I'm
Mhm.
just looking for it to be a close game and a good game. Um, at noon, I'm probably I'm probably mostly going to be watching either the Texans Colts game or the Jags
Yeah,
Dolphins game.
I agree. Those are two good games.
Jags Dolphins, both Florida teams. Like I mean, it's almost like a rivalry game, right?
I
So
guess
that one's
kind of.
both teams are pretty solid too. I mean, obviously the Dolphins have this speed offense, this high-powered offense, and a pretty solid defense. And the Jags have kind of, I don't know, they've been building, they've been getting better.
Yeah, I don't know if you've done. And I might only go through mine today or whatnot, but maybe you can do it on the fly in this overtime episode here. But I wanted to
Oh
predict
yeah,
it.
of course I can, of
Yep. I
course I
wanted to
can.
predict the 24-25 playoff teams, like I want the 7 teams from each conference that are making the playoffs.
Yeah,
Um,
let's go.
I will say this though, as far as the Survivor League goes, I'm taking this team right here, the Falcons. That I'm going to take the Falcons in week 1 to beat Pittsburgh. I think the Falcons are going to be a good team this year with Kirk Cousins down there and the rest of the roster around it. That's my one team that I will take through week 1. We'll see if it hopefully carries to week 2 because I want to take some of these unknown variables. I'm not touching the Jets and the Niners. I'm not touching the Rams and the Lions. I'm not touching Bucks and Commanders. Baker Mayfield. I have no faith there. And who's going? It's Browns, Cowboys. I'm not touching any of these. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Mhm.
What's your team for your Survivor League?
I'm gonna. Oh well, so let's clarify here. So Survivor League,
Yep,
we pick a different team each week, right? But we can't pick the same team twice.
correct. So I'm taking Falcons in week
Correct.
1, but I cannot pick them the rest of the season, and we'll see who can go
Got
the
it. Okay.
furthest.
Yep. I'm gonna take the Giants.
Really, Giants over the
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yep.
All right. You don't want to take the Bears over the
Malik
Titans?
Neighbors
Nothing like that.
and Danny Dimes.
All right. So I have my power rankings that we can run through at some point in this episode, but I do have my NFL playoff teams. You want to go AFC first or NFC first?
Let's go AFC.
And
Let's start on the other side of things.
do you have like a list? Actually, I can probably pull this up in a sense here. So let me go
Yeah, I don't have.
photos.
I can just pull up the conferences because we're talking conference champions and then wild cards from there.
Here does this. Can you see all those teams?
Yeah.
All right. So AFC at the top. We'll go division winners first. For me, in the AFC East, I'm taking the Jets. And I know that there are 2 other teams, such as the Dolphins and the Bills, that are probably going to be in the conversation. For whatever reason, am I crazy? But are the Jets kind of riding under the radar this year? Like they were the talk of the NFL last season, like so much hype. The Jets are going to the Super Bowl. Nobody's talking about the Jets this offseason. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if nobody's talking about the
Well,
Jets.
Aaron
I've
Rodgers
seen
is
a lot of.
talking about the Jets, but outside of Aaron Rodgers, is anyone else talking about the Jets?
I mean, I've seen some predictions that the Jets go to the Super Bowl this year. Um, the
Okay.
other side of things, more recently, I've seen things. Gosh, I can't remember who it is. I don't know if it was a beat writer or if it was like a former player or something like that that had ties to the Jets or something. But I saw some articles coming out of New York that were saying that that the Jets in general are in disarray and Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers doesn't listen to anybody.
Well, that's true.
Nobody gets along in the locker room.
Probably
Like,
true.
I mean, if there are rumors of that, there's got to be at least a little bit of truth to the rumors. And I mean, obviously, as Packer fans, we know what comes with Aaron Rodgers. We've dealt with a lot of that drama. So I'm not surprised if there are issues there. And if there's issues in the locker room, I don't care. I don't care how talented your team is. If there are issues in the locker room and there's issues between players that need to be on the field and working together, you're going to have issues throughout the season as far as wins and losses. So if any of that is true, I think anybody that has the Jets being uber successful or going to the Super Bowl this year is going to be sorely mistaken, because there's no way a team that can't agree on things. One of the issues I've heard is Aaron Rodgers and the Jets head coach
Robert
Saleh,
Saleh. Yeah.
Robert Saleh, yeah, don't agree on anything. And Saleh's a defensive coach, so Rodgers is mainly dealing with an offensive coordinator. But if you can't get along with your head coach, there's going to be issues every step of the way. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they figured out. I think mud, hell, high water, whatever the saying is, because that's not at all what it is.
So you're taking the Jets to win that division, huh?
I'll take the Jets in the AFC East. Since I know you haven't done this premeditatively, who are you going to take in the AFC East?
So basically based on a lot of what we've been talking about just now, I'm not going to take the Jets. Definitely not taking the Patriots. Patriots may have the worst record in the league this year. Patriots are going to be bad.
It's like a one and done coaching year for whoever they got, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I think, and it is very interesting to see with how stout the Patriots have been for most of our lifetime, right? For most of our football viewing lifetime, the Patriots have been a juggernaut, a dynasty, and to now see them as potentially the worst team in the league, it's very interesting. The Dolphins have potential, but I just don't know if they get over the hump this year. And the Bills have kind of revamped their offense. What are you giggling about over there?
Nothing. I'm just, as soon as I think you're about to pick one, you continually say like the one thing about that team, right?
Okay, I will. Sorry, I'm taking too long with this. I'm going to take the Bills. It may not be a popular pick, because of what the Bills have done this year. They don't have Stefon Diggs anymore. They don't have Gabe Davis. Yes, sorry. Jesus. They've made some changes, but I think even with the changes that they've made, Josh Allen is a stellar quarterback. They have a very stout defense. I think with the Jets' issues, I think the Bills take this division.
I can get behind that. AFC North, is there any question on this one? I mean, it's tough because you initially look at it and you're like, okay, we don't like the Steelers or the Patriots, right? They're probably last. Browns are not our grandparents' Browns. They're not, our parents' Browns. That they have potential. Their defense has a lot of opportunity, and they're good. Bengals, Joe Burrow goes down last year, so we kind of forgot who the Bengals actually are. So we look at this season and we kind of forget how good they used to be with a healthy Joe Burrow. I mean, for me, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think I'm going to get any
Hmm.
crazier, fancier with the AFC North. I think the Ravens win the AFC North. Would you
Yeah.
disagree? Or you got someone else?
No, I think I'll take the Ravens to win the division.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
they
get
squeak
we'll
it
get to
out,
wild cards. We'll
but
get to wild cards later. That comes next.
jeez.
Yeah. Don't get ahead of me now, Christian.
Jeez. I'm just so excited.
I'll let
So
you pick
excited.
AFC South before I pick
It's week
mine.
1. AFC South. I'm going to take the Texans. And that may just be based on hype, but looking at the other teams, I think the Texans have the most potential. So,
I'm taking Jacksonville in the AFC South. I think that
okay.
Trevor Lawrence. This is a Jacksonville team that made the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year was a little bit of a regression, but I think that there is a lot of hype around the Houston Texans. If there's any sophomore slump for a player out there, it could be C.J. Stroud. Am I convinced he'll have a complete plummeting? No. Um, I think that they'll still be a good team, around a 500, maybe it's slightly better than a 500 team in the Houston Texans. But I do expect it's kind of a dumpster fire division. In my ultimate opinion, I think all these teams are just going to beat the shit out of each other, and there'll be one team that finishes 2 games, maybe 3 games above 500 and wins the division. And that, in my opinion, I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to do that. Colts have some question marks. Titans have some question marks. Texans have the hype, to your point, but I think they're the obvious pick. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and say that Jacksonville wins the
Hmm.
division.
Yeah, I'd agree. Texans are the obvious pick. But outside of the Titans, I think the Titans are kind of in a rebuilding situation. But the other 3 teams, Jags, Colts, Texans, I think all 3 of them have the potential to win that division. So I
Right.
think it'll be an interesting one to watch. I think it'll be close.
I see the AFC South a lot like the NFC South was either last year or the year prior, where it just seemed like somebody just win this division finally. Like nobody wanted to
Hmm.
claim it until it came down to it was like week 17, and they finally figured out that this team that went 9-8 was going to win the division, right? That's kind of how I see the AFC South to a little bit. In theory, Texans should run away with it or take a jump, but I just don't know. I think it'll be a fun division to watch and see how that one pans out. AFC West, I look at this particular division and I honestly get flashbacks to what the NFC North was 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago. I think there's one team that has arguably the best quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the league, and has shown consistent playoff appearances and success. And then everyone around them is just trying to kind of grasp some of that success. So AFC West division champion or division winner, hands down, is the Chiefs. But do you see anybody making a fight for it? No.
No, I don't. The only team that comes even close is maybe the Chargers. Um, New head coach Justin Herbert has a lot of talent, but the rest of what the Chargers have going on probably isn't enough to win them a division. That's for sure.
So
Um,
on that point, I'll let you take the first stab at who are our 3 wildcard teams in the AFC.
I think first wild card team is the Cincinnati Bengals. Uh,
Okay. 2 from the AFC North.
let's see here. Well, and
It gets tough
man,
because
it
there's a lot
does.
of teams that you're like, God, they should be a playoff team, but yeah,
Right.
they only allow 7.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jets make the playoffs even with their issues,
Okay.
but it's probably going to be a very similar situation to what we dealt with Aaron Rodgers as a Packer. Make the playoffs and then lay a goose egg first round of the playoffs. So
All right, so
let's go. Okay, so
you got the Bengals and the
Bengals,
Jets.
Jets.
So that leaves one more. So what you don't have on the table yet? So we have the Dolphins, we have the Browns, we have the Jaguars, and we have the Chargers. or one of the other ones. There's other teams too, but those are the ones you haven't listed yet.
Right. I'll go Jags.
Final answer?
Yeah. Final answer. Bengals, Jets, Jags. Writing it all down?
Yeah, I'm writing it down. Jeez. All right, so your AFC division winners are the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, and the Chiefs, with the Bengals, Jets, and Jaguars coming in there. My division winners are the Jets, the Ravens, the Jags, and the Chiefs. And my 3 wildcard teams are the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Joe Burrow does get that team to the playoffs, but they're just a little bit lesser of a team than the Ravens as far as the regular season goes. The Buffalo Bills, I'm with you there. You took them as your division winner. I think the Bills bounce back, have a good season, even without Stephon Diggs. And then my one team that doesn't line up as far as the AFC playoff goes with your list, I like the Los Angeles Chargers making it. So you have Houston Texans in your playoffs. I do not have the Houston Texans in my playoff predictions. I'm going to take the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. I know, right? Jim Harbaugh out there, and Justin Herbert. Thank you. I think the team gets better. I think they're the 7th seed. I think they squeak into the playoffs. But I like the Chargers having kind of a growth year over year and making their way to the playoffs. For the most part, 6 of the 7 teams we both agree on, and there's just a little bit of a disagreement on who that ultimate 7th team is. Let's head over to the NFC. Let's just go left to right again. NFC East. I have the Eagles taking the division. Yep. You also have the Eagles. All right.
Yeah.
In the NFC North, Packers podcast. I'm a lot of talk about the Lions winning this division. Now, let me quiz you. Maybe I did this last week. I can't remember. But do you remember the last NFC North coach to win back-to-back division titles that wasn't a Packers head coach?
Mm-hmm. No.
Would you have a guess? Or even the team?
I have a guess. It's most likely not right. But was it the Bears?
Wasn't the Bears.
Okay. Well, then the coach I was going to guess is definitely not right either. So
it was the Vikings, and it was Brett Favre led the Vikings in both 2008 and 2009 to win the NFC North. And the head coach was Brad Childress. Oh man, do I need to pull up a picture of this guy? Hold on, look at it. Oh, I can't type. He's got a tender, loving look to him.
What?
Yeah,
a tender, loving look.
Elders. He's like the type of guy that you feel like you could tell all your secrets to, right? And you wouldn't have to worry. Like, he'll hang on to those secrets. Window. Here it is. That guy.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, no, we lost him. Right. There it is. That guy, you can tell all your secrets to that guy. And he won't let you down.
It does look like that guy's got a lot of secrets. I don't know if it's the kind of secrets you're talking about, but
so there's your fun facts. It was the Minnesota Vikings back in 2008 and 2009 under Brett Favre, the last NFC North team to win the division back to back. That wasn't a Packers coach, right? So,
right.
I'm taking the Packers. I think that obviously we did our whole schedule breakdown and whatnot, but Packers win the division. Are you gonna? You can go another team. I'm not going to talk you into it. Do you actually feel the Packers are going to win the division this year?
Man, that Lions team is so good, but I think the Packers squeak out the division with the Lions close on their heels,
It's going
and
to boil
then
down to those matchups. I mean, when the Packers and Lions play, it those are the
yeah,
those are the games that are going to decide the division.
yep, for sure. For sure. Those are big games.
So
This
Lions
is
or Packers?
exciting.
Lions or Packers?
I'm going Packers.
Okay.
I'm going Packers.
NFC South, I am taking the Falcons to win the NFC South.
Okay. Let's see here. You got trust in Kirk Cousins, huh?
Kirk is one of those guys that is better than he should be as a quarterback. I mean it, right? Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
look like he should be decent at quarterback, but even like last year before he got hurt, like he was lighting up the stat line consistently week
Mm-hmm.
over week. And I don't think that's just a Justin Jefferson thing. I think the guy knows how to play football, and I do like him enough. Again, that's a dumpster fire division in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah,
the
it is.
Buccaneers are gonna do anything this year, but I regress. Yes, Falcons win that division.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons too. Outside of Kirk Cousins, the Falcons have some decent talent at the other key offensive positions. They got Drake London at wide receiver and Bijan Robinson, who was not used the way he should have been last season by that awful head coach that they had. I don't understand what he was doing, but yeah. So I mean, I don't even know who their head coach is now, but whoever it is, as long as he uses Bijan Robinson the way he should be used, they're going to have more success this year. So I can see them winning the division too.
I think their head coach is this guy. All right. And you can tell him all your secrets.
Stop doing that. It's scaring me. Every time you pull it up, I get a little afraid. The heebie-jeebies.
All right. Let's head on over
There's an awful picture of him. There's an awful picture.
That's actually his best picture. That's the best
I'm
one
sure
he's
a very nice guy, but that is an awful picture. He looks super creepy.
He's kind of the party don't start till I walk in. He's that guy. It doesn't start
Is he?
till Brad
Really?
Childress walks in.
Yeah.
NFC West. This was actually, I wanted to get a little bit bold here, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to say who the other team was that I was considering because they're going to be one of my wild card teams. But 49ers win the division. Any question about that one?
No.
Okay.
No. 49ers are a solid team.
All right. So we boiled down to 3 wild card teams left. I will go first since you did the AFC first last time. Obviously, the Lions, with me taking the Packers as the division winner. Lions are going to go into the playoffs. And then I'm not going to go Cowboys. I'm not going to go any other team in the NFC East. I'm not going to go Chicago as much as a Caleb Williams fan as I have seen the last week and a half. I'm not going the Bears. The Bears I will not put in the playoffs. NFC South is an absolute dumpster fire. So that leaves 2 more teams that come out of the NFC West. I'm going to go the Rams will make the playoffs, and I am going to go the Arizona Cardinals will make the playoffs.
Ooh.
I think that the Cardinals will be kind of in the same situation as the Chargers, where they will squeak their way in and get that 7th playoff seed. As far as the surprise goes, I'm with you. You brought this up. As much as I changed your mind on this Packers-Eagles game prediction with my great insight, you brought up a few weeks ago that the Cowboys, you had a feeling that they were going to regress, and I'm kind of with you there. This could be a fun year to watch the city of Dallas burn. There's been a lot of animosity this entire off season between management. What's going on at head coach with Mike McCarthy? Should he have came back, or should they have just parted ways and started fresh? We don't know. Dak Prescott is heading into a contract year. We don't know. The whole team, there's just a lot going on outside of football that is distracting for that city. Plus, I'm pretty sure Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers just kind of clipped them at the legs last season, and I think there's just a lack of confidence all across the board. Long story short, Cowboys I don't see making the playoffs. That's a surprise. Bears, no. Nobody else in the NFC South, excuse me. I'm going to take the Cardinals, the Rams, and the 49ers. There's 3 teams from the NFC West that I see making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My wild card teams are probably about the same. Lions, Rams. And honestly, I'm also looking at the NFC West, and I was leaning Seahawks as that last team to kind of squeak in. I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks have a tendency to do that. Right towards the end, they squeak into the playoffs.
They still got
So I'll
Pete
go
Carroll.
Seahawks.
They got a good coaching pedigree there.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Who do they got?
No, Pete Carroll's gone.
Where the hell did he go? Did he die? Oh my God, did Pete Carroll die?
No, he didn't die. That guy's never gonna die.
Oh.
He's gonna be chomping on that bubble gum for eternity. But no, he is
did they hire this
guy? He is not the head coach anymore. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
All right.
Sorry, I'm coughing a lot.
All right, so you got Seahawks, Rams, Lions as your wild card. Let's take this a step further. NFC, AFC championship games. AFC, I will take Kansas City in the AFC. Now, this is tricky because you have to assume where these seeds are going to shake out, right? Because you could have your other pick maybe fall to the 4th spot or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that the same matchups happen year over year, so it's easy to say Kansas City and the Ravens. You know what? I'm actually going to change that. I don't think Kansas City makes it to the AFC Championship game. I will take the Ravens in the AFC Championship game because I do think that they are that good. And as far as their competition, I'm going to take the Bills. Ravens, Bills. Bills are my wild card team. Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens, Bills.
Okay.
I think, to your point, I think Rodgers and the Jets, they do something Rodgers-esque in either the wild card or the divisional round. They do. Too much pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll choke. He'll choke again. Let's see here.
Do you remember who you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Of course.
I think, like you said, it's tough to know because we don't know how the seeding's all going to shake out. But to start the season here, I can see a Chiefs-Bengals AFC Championship.
Chiefs-Bengals. I can see that.
Yeah. I think last year, because the Bengals were just in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Joe Burrow willed that team to the Super Bowl. And like you said, last year, Joe Burrow got injured. So the Bengals kind of got forgotten about. But they're still pretty close to the same team they were when they made it to the Super Bowl. So I see Joe Burrow bringing them back to that type of status.
They still have Higgins and Chase, right?
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
Mixon?
They don't have... Mixon is gone. Mixon is in Houston. They're starting running back right now. It's probably a committee between Zach Moss and what's his name? Chase. No.
All right. Isn't this their starting running back?
You're just going to find any reason to bring that creeper up, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I like the Bengals pick. I agree. It's probably 50-50. We don't see anyone. Does anyone outside of Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati, or Buffalo, those 4 teams, is anybody else have a shot at the Super Bowl? Do the Jets realistically have a shot at the Super Bowl, in your opinion? I think they do.
I don't think so.
I think they do, but I just don't see it happening.
In my opinion, I don't think that they do. I mean, the Jets do have a lot of talent, but I just don't see it happening because of just the experience that we have with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he gets them there. I think everybody's so high on Aaron Rodgers being back and the Jets becoming this Super Bowl team all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it happens.
The way you're holding that glass and rambling, you just... I don't see it happen.
I need another beer. I wasn't expecting to have to go get another one.
But I don't see it happen. There's no way it's happening. Out of the NFC, it's really tough. It's really tough to do this podcast and not pick the team that your entire podcast is built around. I do think legitimately in all conspiracy theory, fish tank mindsets of thinking that the Packers are that good this year. So I am going to put the Packers in there at the NFC Championship game, of course. Against the Lions.
Oh, man. That's the best NFC Championship game of our lifetime.
And who would have thought that'd be the best of our lifetime? The Lions and Packers NFC Championship game? What? That's my pick right there.
That's kind of where I was leaning to, honestly. God, that will be fun. Where do you think they play? Well, so we have Packers winning the division, right? And Lions as a wild card team. Both of us do.
Yep.
So that would mean it's at Lambeau.
Correct.
Lambeau Field, NFC Championship, Packers versus Lions. That is a thing of fantasy for Packer fans, isn't it?
I think that's a thing of fantasy for Lions fans. I mean, Lions fans heading into that game being like, we have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and we get to do it by beating Green Bay at Lambeau Field. There'd be the storylines would up until last year, the Lions haven't won in Lambeau Field in like 57 years. Fact check me on that. Right. It's been so long. So yeah, that would be a hell of a matchup.
I was hoping for it last year. We were very close to it last year.
Oh, we were very close to it last year. Heading to
that would have been in Detroit. Yeah. No, that's yeah, let's go with that. I'll stick with that.
You like that one too? Okay.
I like that.
Super Bowl matchup then. And winner.
Oh man. Come on now. All right, so I got Chiefs, Bengals. I'm going to say Bengals make it to the Super Bowl again because Joe Burrow's the man. And, fuck it. Fuck it. Bengals, Packers. That sounds like a stellar matchup in the Super Bowl this year.
I'll take, sure. Go Packers. I do think that are we crazy or drunk? Just too drunk to see through the actual fact? I mean, tipsy, sure. They can be that good this year, right? Is it a Super Bowl year? Maybe I should ask you that. Is this year a Super Bowl year or is it next year?
No, I think it's this year. I mean, look how close they were last year. I mean, I know they didn't quite make it to the NFC Championship, but they were in that game against the Niners. It wasn't that they got blown out by the Niners and the Niners went on to the NFC Championship. It was a fight down to the end. And this was the last season. It was a Packers team that had no expectations. So now you got the same team with some new toys, new defensive scheme. I think this is the year. And next year. And the year after that.
Right, every year is the year. Man,
what's the famous LeBron quote? Not one, not two, not three. I don't know how far he went, but
I think that's
I think we are in the beginnings of a new I can't even say it. I'm not even going to say it. I want to say the D word, but
Yep. I know. I'll take Packers versus Ravens. I do like the Ravens a lot.
Are you going off of the
Colors?
conspiracy theory about the Super Bowl logo?
Okay. Do you even know what the logo colors are for the next Super Bowl?
Yeah, they were like green and purple. It's in,
No,
isn't it
that
in?
was last year. Is it green and purple?
Are you sure? Isn't
Hold
it
on.
in Louisiana this year too? Isn't it at um the Superdome?
Let's get some facts right. Right? What do you think, Brad? Got some facts here for us?
I can't handle that. I can't handle it.
We got to keep that window open.
You pull up that logo. I got to get another beverage.
I mean, it looks like it's Packers Chiefs if you're going to go that route. Well, there is a lot of purple in the background too.
Yeah. It does look like that looks different than what I saw. Well, so last season, like during the AFC or the championship week, AFC NFC championship week, there was a whole lot of stuff going around about the Super Bowl logo, and people were like, "Oh, because of the colors of the logo this year, these are the teams that are going to win." And then they were showing next year's logo, and everyone was like, "Oh, look, green and purple. It's going to be Packers Ravens." So I don't believe it anyway, but I was just joking. I am not a huge fan of Lamar Jackson. He's a stellar talent, but I don't know. I don't really like him.
You think he's overhyped?
I think I don't know if that's the right term, because he is very talented. He is very good, but there's one game that sticks out to me, and it was it was a couple years ago. It was a Thursday night game or something like that, and the Ravens were getting beat up by, I think it was the Browns. Ravens were getting beat up by the Browns, and all of a sudden Lamar Jackson comes out of the game and has to go to the locker room. And so the backup comes in and brings him back. And the Ravens are within like a field goal or something like that, or a touchdown or something. And all of a sudden, miraculously, Lamar Jackson comes out of the locker room and comes back in the game. And I honestly don't even remember if they won the game or not. But to me, it just seemed like, because you see the players on the sideline and stuff, you see their body language. And to me, it just looked like he was pissed that they were getting beat up on. So he didn't feel like playing anymore. So he said, "Oh, I'm hurt or I'm sick or whatever," and went to the locker room. The backup brings him back. And he's all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, I'm good. I can come back in and save the day." I don't know. That one specific game just gave me a bad taste in my mouth about Lamar Jackson, and I've never. Are you, what is this?
Here it is. So,
This is the game?
oh, wait, well, there was. There he is.
Yeah.
He looks like he has to poop. That was
I
more
think
of a.
that's what it. I think that's what came out. He had the shits or something like that.
That's a poop trot right there. Right? Oh, that guy almost decked him.
You make
on
me
the
spit
door.
my beer out. I'm not seeing any of this.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh,
Are you
man,
in full
really?
screen?
Yeah, let me get it out of full screen.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't see it.
Thanks for waiting 2.5 minutes to say something, Christian.
Oh, there he comes, waddling out of the locker room.
Yep.
Or into the locker room.
Okay, there was one play where this white boy tried to run it like Lamar Jackson and realized, and then he got hurt. Okay. Anyway. Not a big Lamar Jackson fan. I get it. Well, should we do our power rankings heading into the 2024 season?
Sure.
You got that one together? You got a list?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
It's gonna be hard to do then.
I mean, honestly, I was thinking about this earlier. Honestly, you could give your power rankings. Mine would probably be fairly similar. Um, but I can go off of yours and make any adjustments that I see fit.
Give me a second here.
Hey, would you rather carry a gallon of water or a gallon of butane?
Gallon of water.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a gallon of butane is lighter fluid.
No, a gallon is a gallon. We're not getting into this argument.
Lighter fluid,
I
not
see what you.
landing.
Oh, is that your dad joke? Did you just pull the dad joke out? Okay.
Da 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 da.
Here's my
Dad
power
joke of the day.
rankings. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. Sure can.
Yeah, I can't see that at all.
I can blow it up. Just wait for it.
This is fun.
Now
There
can you
we
see it?
go. I can.
All right. Well, would you agree that the New York Jets are at number 10 on the power rankings?
No.
Exactly. This is why you get your own power rankings. All right, Christian. I have the Jets at 10. Most everyone else has them like at 14, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. I do see them. They're an under the radar team. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go on a scorched earth tour at least for
Is he
3/4 of the season.
Is
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
still Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers?
Yes, he is.
I don't know.
Number 9, I have the Houston Texans. Pretty self-explanatory. I think they are coming back from a promising end of the season. Surprised a lot of people. CJ Stroud. We've talked about that in depth. I have them at number 9. Buffalo Bills. So how I make my power rankings is like I expect the team at 1 to be able to beat the team at 2, the team at 1 to be able to team at 3. Right. So that's how I have my. If they were going head to head, this is who I would favor in these matchups. Right. So maybe the surprise or not, I have Green Bay at 4. I think that there are 3 teams that I would not give them the clear victory over throughout the whole regular season. And maybe clear is a strong word, but it's more than a 50-50 chance that they win the game. So I have them better than the Lions. I have the Bengals at 6. Eagles, I think the Packers beat the Eagles here, so their Eagles are at number 7. Buffalo Bills at 8. Anything that you would change, move around on your side? Any disagreements? Go.
I don't see the Jets as a top 10 team right now. I mean, they may change that as the season goes on, but I don't see them as a top 10 team. And I also don't see San Francisco as the number 1.
Bullshit. You have the Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, to start the season, I would probably have the Chiefs at number 1.
See, that's the problem right there. Is that everyone takes the Chiefs at number 1. And if it wasn't for poor coaching at the end of that game in the Super Bowl, the Niners should have won that game. The Niners were the better team against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And they decided to defer and play defense to start the Super Bowl overtime, and their players were gassed, and the Chiefs went down there and scored some points, and it was game over. It was bad coaching is what cost them that game. It wasn't the team itself. So to that respect, I think if these two teams played again, like on Thursday night, let's say it was the Niners and Chiefs on Thursday Night Football this week, who would you take in that game?
The Chiefs.
All right, you got Chiefs at number 1 then. Get your own fucking power rankings, Christian.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of argument from me with the rest of this power rankings.
Do you like the Packers as high as 4 to start the season?
I do. Sorry, I'm thinking as I answer. I'm just looking at each team name and thinking about their roster and coaching, and I don't know. Week 1, this top 10 definitely isn't going to stay the same as the season goes on. So,
no, it won't. I expect the Jets to fall out of the top 10 because they're going to lose to the Niners on Monday Night Football.
yeah, but who comes into the top 10? That's kind of where I'm stuck right now. I'm like,
You
okay, I don't
wanted to
think the
do a
Jets are a
top
top
10.
10 team.
If you wanted to know what was going to come into the top 10, we would have done a top 15, but this is just the top 10.
Yeah. My point is, like, what other team in the league would be at that 10 spot instead of the Jets? And I'm trying to think of who that would be.
Oh, there's tons of teams. Miami?
The Dolphin. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Dolphins was the first one that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins, Jaguars, Falcons.
I take the Browns over the Falcons.
Yeah.
Bears?
No. Come on, man. Man, do I need to buy you a Caleb Williams jersey? And I mean, I'll take all that stuff that you got sitting behind you there. I'll take all of that if you want.
No. You see, I pride myself on honest reporting, all right? And I think that they actually found a quarterback for the first time.
Okay, CNN.
The last I'll interview Caleb Williams and I'll give him all the softball questions that you could possibly want, all right? What is your favorite thing about football? That'll be my question.
To Caleb Williams, that's your question.
That's my question. Anyway, we're losing steam here at an hour 49. Do we want to do a prize? Do we want to do a prize picks lineup of yours? Since I've been,
I can throw some stuff out there quick because I do have some prize picks. Do we want to go with just the Packer game?
Like Packers players?
No, just the game in general.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Packers and Eagles.
Sure.
All right. So let's see here. So some of these picks may be slightly bold, but the more bold you get with betting on sports, the more money you potentially can win. So to start off the Packers and Eagles game, I have Jalen Hurts over half a touchdown, rushing or receiving.
That seems...
Brad Childress, get the fuck out of here.
That seems pretty obvious.
I mean, my logic with that is it's very easy to foresee a tush-push situation where Jalen Hurts gets a rushing touchdown. I have Jordan Love over 299.5 passing yards. I think he goes over 300 passing yards, especially with what we've talked about with the Eagles' pass defense last season. I don't think the changes that they've made make that big of a difference. So essentially over 300 yards passing for Jordan Love. To go along with that, I have Jaden Reed at over 42.5 receiving yards and Christian Watson over 49.5 receiving yards. The Christian Watson one, my mind goes to a deep ball that goes for, potentially 60 plus yards. And with that one catch, you go over the mark on that pick. I have Saquon Barkley over 29.5 receiving yards. If you looking at these picks and looking at fantasy, if you look at game script type situations,
I don't like that one.
Why not?
No.
Just bear with me.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Yep.
So if you're thinking game script, right? So if the game script is the Packers are ahead and the Eagles need to catch up, they're going to be in passing situations more often than a rushing situation. So that's going to open up more opportunities for Saquon Barkley to catch passes as opposed to rushing the ball. So he has more receiving yards because they're in catch-up mode.
Up until an hour ago, you had the Eagles winning 31-28. So what catch-up mode were you thinking of when you placed this bet on Saquon Barkley to have more than 29.5 receiving
I mean,
yards?
who's to say when my mind was changed? Who's to say when my mind was changed?
Yep, okay.
And then I have AJ Brown over 73.5 receiving yards. So every betting app or wherever you're putting these prop bets in, every app, every spot where you're making these picks is different. Prize Picks, typically the over is a better bet than the under.
Right.
It seems like.
Yeah, I always do over on everything, and
Yeah.
I'll hit like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, and I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah. Yeah. In football, it seems to be the over is the overwhelming majority of the wins. But yeah, the under hits sometimes too. But the AJ Brown pick, so I know you pegged the Jair Alexander AJ Brown matchup as one of the matchups that you're watching for the game.
Yep.
I don't know that Jair is always going to be matched up against AJ Brown. I mean, the Packers rarely shadow guys.
In the past.
In the past, that's true. New defense, new scheme.
You look at Jair, and he's got like this whole new excitement about the defense, right? And one of his biggest frustrations last season with Joe Barry was just, why don't you put me one-on-one with their best receiver, right?
Yeah.
I think Hafley understands he's a defensive backs coach through and through. So I think in those matchups where we run up against true number one receivers, the Adams, the Hills, Hill's tough because he can run past everybody, but I think that Hafley appreciates that and will put Jair in positions to match up with him as much as possible.
Well, so I guess that one specifically, it'll depend. If Jair shadows AJ Brown, I don't see him necessarily hitting that over 73.5. But what I was going off of was years past where Jair doesn't always shadow the number one receiver. So we'll see on that one. But
all right, so real quick again,
those are my prize picks.
What do you real quick again, right down the line? What do you have for
Run
prize
through? Picks? So we've got Jalen Hurts over half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Jordan Love over 299.5 passing yards. Jaden Reed over 42.5 receiving yards. Christian Watson over 59.5 receiving yards. Saquon Barkley over 29.5 receiving yards. AJ Brown over 73.5 receiving yards.
Everyone but Saquon I like on that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so that is a pick six. Yeah, so those pick that's the max tricky. You can do.
Yep.
On Prize Picks. If you get all 6 right and you bet $5, you win $225.
Did you bet $5?
I did bet $5.
Beautiful.
So next week I will be $225 richer, or $220 richer,
or $5 less. We don't know yet.
Yeah, that's the more likely scenario.
I'll get into the Prize Picks game too. Once we get to a normal weekly schedule where games are on Sundays and Mondays, it just popped up on me, and I was getting ready for tonight's episode and whatnot. I'm like, I'm not gonna even dive into this right now. I wasn't ready to dive into it, but well, we learned one thing on overtime. We apparently have the drinks kick in. Is what's come of overtime. So hopefully everyone enjoyed a slightly different dichotomy and conversation of what happens in the regular episodes.
I mean, what else would you expect from overtime? I mean, if we're watching a Packer game that goes into overtime, the drinks are going to have an effect at some point, right?
What do you do for Packers touchdowns? Anything special? You just cheer?
I mean, at home with my family, yes, just cheer.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be every time the Packers scored, it was a shot.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time I took a shot, man.
Even
It's
Jello?
Yeah, even Jello.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what we'll do Friday. We'll make some Jello shots. I mean, the kids will be in bed. The kids will be in bed anyway.
I feel like your wife's gonna hate me. I'm turn you into some sort of alcoholic that stays up too late on Tuesday nights drinking, and then on Packers games you're doing shots. I apologize in advance to your wife.
Well, honestly, I mean, Tuesday nights honestly works out perfectly now because throughout the summer, Haley was teaching dance on Tuesday nights. And Tuesday for a long time has also been like our family day because with what we do for work, we work weekends often. So we would take Tuesday as a family day. Well, with our oldest starting 4K this week, she has school every Tuesday. So we've switched our family day to Wednesday. So for the foreseeable future, Wednesday is our off day. So
Here we go.
Getting a little slizzard on Tuesday night is not out of the
In
question.
front of your webcam and computer.
By myself in my
Yeah.
in my children's playroom
Yep.
/ our office.
Yep. And another reference to getting old sneaks up on you quick right there.
Yeah.
No, I do Jello shots. Green Jello shots are only for Packers touchdowns. Yellow Jello shots are for Packers interceptions. And I was thinking about this on my drive to work. It was today, definitely today, that I used to make so many yellow Jello shots, and last year we never took them because there were so many. It never happened. The defense was so bad last year, so I'm gonna make a bunch on week 1 here. Jeff Halfley, show me your defense, sort of a scenario. Jalen Hurts does throw interceptions, so I'm expecting to at least have 1 or 2 yellow Jello shots, but that's what I do. Jello
Okay.
shots on touchdowns.
All right. Well, you know what? I am
If you don't want to drink, I recommend getting like bottle rockets. You can light those off for every Packers touchdowns. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty fun.
my aunt lives in Minneapolis, like the heart of Minneapolis, and lights off bottle rockets every time the Packers score a touchdown. And
Nice.
her neighbors are all Vikings fans, but they know when that bottle rocket goes off, Packers just scored a touchdown.
I like it. I think it's decided I'm gonna make Jello shots this week. So yeah, we'll be taking Jello shots together.
And we'll have to get together for one of these games.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be fun.
Yep.
That'd be fun. We don't live that far apart.
We don't.
No.
Unless the Packers win 47-3 and there's 4 turnovers, that's a long drive for you. That would be.
Yeah, I'm not driving at that point.
All right, let's wrap it up. I think we both hit our limit. It's 11 o'clock Central Standard Time on Tuesday night. We've been recording for 2 hours, so this is fun. Game time.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. You know what? And before we go, I've been thinking about this every week. I got to get the plug in there. So obviously, we want everyone to subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, let us know your thoughts on how we're doing here at Pour Another Packers podcast. But ultimately, the goal is to grow this channel to the point where Jordan Love comes on as a guest. So I'm going to put the plug in there. Jordan Love, if you're listening, we would love to have you on. Come chat with us. I love you, man. I've loved you since before the Packers loved you. So let's talk. Let's have some fun. Let's drink and get you on Pour Another Packers podcast.
I love that you put your plugs in at 2 hours into the recording.
It's got to go at some point. At some point,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you can edit it. You could put the plug somewhere else, right?
I mean, yeah, I definitely can. I'll put it right at the intro.
Right.
I
mean, you're not going to.
Oh, but I'm going to. At the start of the overtime intro will be that plug right there. and we'll see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Maybe it works.
Doubtful, but we'll see.
All right. Until next time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
On the internet still? Pants down, double OT.